AI is everywhere, right? We hear about it constantly. But when you start talking about AI and our health, well, that's where things get really interesting. And, maybe a little bit scary. So today, we're going to dive into a big academic review all about artificial intelligence in healthcare to look at the incredible promise and the very real peril. So why now? Why is AI suddenly this huge deal in medicine? To get it, you really have to understand the bigger picture. And honestly, the picture is pretty stressed. Healthcare systems all over the world are stretched to the absolute breaking point. I mean, just look at this number. $3.3 trillion. That's not the entire healthcare budget. That's just what the US spends every single year on chronic diseases alone. It's a completely mind-boggling figure. And it tells you one thing, loud and clear, whatever we're doing right now, it's just not sustainable. And it's not just about the money, It's like a perfect storm. We have aging populations, more and more people living with chronic diseases. We're talking 60% of adults in the US have at least one. And then you add a massive shock like the COVID-19 pandemic on top of all that, well, it all adds up. It puts this incredible strain on just being able to get medical care when you need it. And it's inside this pressure cooker that the idea of a tech revolution starts to look not just interesting, but absolutely essential. And that revolution? Well, it has a name you've definitely heard. Artificial intelligence. It's being held up as this powerful new tool that could finally help us tackle these enormous challenges head-on. So let's get on the same page about what we're actually talking about here. All right, a real quick baseline here. At its heart, artificial intelligence, or AI, is basically the science of making machines that can think, or at least mimic the way we humans think. They use these complex algorithms to learn things, figure stuff out, and solve problems. Now, a really important piece of this whole puzzle is something called machine learning, or ML. Think of it like this. Instead of a programmer having to write code for every single possible scenario, you just feed the computer a ton of examples. You show it thousands and thousands of medical scans, and it starts to learn on its own how to spot the patterns. It literally gets smarter the more data it sees. Okay, so how is this tech actually showing up in a hospital or your doctor's office? Well, this paper breaks it all down into 6 key areas where AI is already having a huge impact. You've got everything from diagnostics and virtual care all the way to speeding up drug discovery and even just cutting down on paperwork. Let's dig into a couple of the really big ones. First up, diagnostics. This is a game changer. AI is becoming like a superpower for doctors. It can analyze a heart scan and find subtle patterns of disease that are invisible to the human eye. Or it can look at an X-ray and spot the tiniest, earliest signs of cancer or pneumonia. And get this, some algorithms can even analyze the sound of someone's voice to help predict mental health events. It's all about seeing more and seeing it earlier than ever before. AI is also pushing healthcare way beyond the hospital walls. I mean, think about the wearable on your wrist. It can monitor chronic conditions in real time, letting your doctor track your health from anywhere. And then you have AI chatbots, powered by tech like ChatGPT, that are stepping in to answer patient questions or send reminders to take your meds. It's making healthcare something that happens every day, not just during an appointment. So this all sounds pretty amazing, right? A sci-fi future come to life. But, and this is a really, really big but, it is not that simple. We are talking about our health. It's personal, it's sensitive, and the stakes are incredibly high. And plugging this powerful new technology into that system brings up some huge, huge challenges. And that leads us to one of the biggest conceptual hurdles in all of medical AI. It's what everyone calls the black box problem. So what is that? Well, it's when an AI gives you an answer, let's say a diagnosis, but we have no idea how it got there. We can't see its internal logic. We see the what, but we don't know the why. And in medicine, not knowing the why is a deal breaker. It creates a massive trust problem, and it's a nightmare for accountability. This really gets to the core of the data dilemma, which is a total double-edged sword. The promise is that we can train these powerful AI models on huge data sets. But the peril? If that data is flawed, if it's biased or incomplete or just plain wrong, the AI learns those flaws. It can actually amplify existing biases, leading to unfair or even dangerous outcomes for patients. So yeah, the list of challenges is long. We're talking about huge questions. How do we protect sensitive patient data? Who is legally responsible when an AI gets it wrong? How do we stop these systems from just baking in the biases that already exist in our society?
And on a fundamental level, how do you get doctors and patients to actually trust a decision that comes out of a machine?
So, with all of that on the table, the incredible promise and these very serious risks, where do we go from here? How do we get all the amazing benefits of AI while navigating the dangers?
The research on this is really clear. The answer isn't just about building smarter algorithms. It's about building a whole framework of trust around them. And that means we need robust rules, clear regulations, and a real focus on transparency. So, how do you build that trust? Well, it takes a few key things. First, you need effective governance, clear rules of the road for how AI is used. Second, we need to develop what's called explainable AI, systems that can actually open up that black box and show their reasoning. And critically, we have to focus on using AI to augment and support our human doctors, not to replace them.
And that brings us to this really powerful quote from the paper, which I think just says it all. AI cannot replace the human connections that form teams. It's a perfect reminder, right? For all the talk about data and processing power, healthcare is, at its core, a fundamentally human thing. It's built on communication, empathy, and trust.
So we'll end with this question, which really captures the central tension of this whole revolution. As we move forward, the challenge isn't just about the technology itself. It's about how we choose to use it. How do we ensure AI becomes a tool that empowers our humanity rather than one that replaces it? That's the real question we all need to answer.